und herzlich willkommen zu Independent Days TV. Wir sind hier live in der Schauburg. Hier findet seit heute unser 5-tägiges Festival statt, die Independent Days, die 21. Ausgabe. Und ich habe hier einen jungen Filmemacher bei mir aus Großbritannien, der seine Weltpremiere heute mit seinem Film bei uns hatte, The Gossip. Es ist Rolfin Nyhus. Welcome, Rolfin. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Your story is about two girls, and they seem to have a really complicated relationship. They are best friends,
Yep.
but they have a problem of, like, let's say, talking to each other.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, I think. And I mean, it's really a film about how we have a tendency, or we feel that we're allowed to maybe hurt the people that are closest to us. And especially when kind of hurtful feelings are involved, and how sometimes that gets the better of us, and rather than sort of dealing with someone with compassion, we let our frustrations kind of get the better of us and actually end up doing a lot of harm, more harm than good. And I mean, the problem, the relationship is troubled because Kirsty has got substance abuse issues. And I've had some experience of that with friends, so I kind of understand the dynamic and how difficult it can be to kind of be there and be supportive when you can see that the other person's not really helping themselves. And I mean, in addition to that, I mean, that's something that can affect people of all ages, but we deliberately chose to cast it with some young actors, because I think these kind of issues are more prevalent when you're younger, and especially when so much communication is done over the phone as well, which features quite heavily in the film. That kind of communication, where it's not in person, can make it, let's say, a bit easier to misinterpret each other's motives.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's a really tough topic that you chose. Was there some kind of, I don't want to say inspiration, but some kind of experience that actually led to this film?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been in that situation myself, and hopefully, hopefully when people see the film, they'll feel that the characters are quite authentic. And I mean, something that inspired it partly was there was a show which has thankfully been banned in the UK called the Jeremy Kyle Show, where producers would go into kind of working class communities and deliberately wind them up, and so that the kind of behaviour that you see Misha exhibiting, they're almost guaranteed to get that on the TV. And coming from a working class background myself, seeing people from a similar background portrayed in that way, I found sort of really highly manipulative and awful. So I really wanted to approach these characters with sort of empathy and on their own terms. You know, they're not belligerent, angry, working class people. You know, they're both intelligent people that are just having a bit of a bad time, you know.
And how did you prepare the actors for this? You said you casted younger actresses for it. So was it a topic that was familiar for them, or did you have to do a lot of work before you started filming?
Well, full credit to our brilliant casting director, Cameron Culver. He's got a brilliant eye, and in all honesty, it was when we saw Ellie and Eva, it was they were just so obviously capable of doing it. They're highly intelligent artists, and you know, they got a lot from the script. So actually it was just more of a case of throwing them into some improvisation so that they actually had a bit of a bond between them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's great when that happens, when you know when you're directing actors and you're just making a few minor adjustments, but they basically get it. Mm-hmm. So full credit to them for the performances. They more or less had it right from the start.
And would you give any advice to someone who, has a friend who, has this kind of problems, like who's addicted to something? Mm-hmm. What would you suggest?
Well, I think, so they say patience is a virtue. I think patience is really important, and ultimately you've got to understand if someone needs help, they've got to find the reason within themselves. So, you know, in the case of the characters, Misha getting angry is certainly not going to help. I mean, people in Kirsty's position already feel an overwhelming amount of guilt and shame. They don't need any more added on top of it. And it is just a case of being patient and being as loving as you can, and they've got to find a reason within themselves to get help, get therapy, get, you know, whatever it might be, whatever problems they're facing. They've got to make that change within themselves, really. Mm-hmm. That's my, you know, from my experience anyway.
Okay, so I would like to say thank you for coming here, thank you for presenting your film.
Thank you for having me.
It's the world premiere. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did, yeah. It's been great.
Okay, so thank you again. Ich hoffe, es hat Ihnen gefallen. Wenn Sie möchten, kommen Sie her zu den Independent Days. Wir sind noch bis Sonntag hier. Wir haben tolle andere Filme im Programm. Rolfin ist auch hier, können sich gerne mit ihm unterhalten, wenn Sie vorbeikommen. Und ja, ansonsten sehen wir uns das nächste Mal bei Independent Days TV und ich wünsche Ihnen jetzt noch einen schönen Abend. Bis dahin, alles Gute.